so far, I think it's that I once wrote a poem that I thought equated to the skill of one of my favorite poets. I thought he would have written it, and that took a while, you know. And um, I only wanted to become a poet because I've only heard of people being born poets. I didn't think I was born a poet. I wasn't immediately good at it. That's why I wanted to pursue it because I was just so um, full of myself that I thought I was great at everything else except that, except writing. I wouldn't say I'm great at writing, but I can do it. I can do it now.
Who's your favorite poet?
Arthur Rimbaud. He's like a French symbolist. Not a symbolist. He's not a symbolist. He's a French poet who gave rise to the symbolism movement in poetry, in French poetry, but he was not. He didn't identify with any kind of movement. He was just he was just vile and naive and young and gross, and then tragically brilliant. That attracted me so much about it. I wanted to live. You know how I told you I wanted to live like Jack Kerouac. Jack Kerouac worshipped this guy, by the way. All the beats did, but um, I remember telling a friend about what I wanted to do in the future, how I wanted to travel, how I wanted to live my life, and then it was only after that I found out about Rimbaud and started studying him and his life, and he had already done it. Exactly what I wanted to do. Except he did it in Europe. He like ran away from home, traveled by foot, begged, stole or borrowed to get by. He lived the fantasy life of poetry and crime. I thought that was just, oh, it's a romantic, idyllic sort of dream. But I was still willing to pursue it regardless of how absurd it was.
Do you think he was happy?
Huh?
Do you think he was happy?
He didn't care about happiness. He wanted. He's just so. He was just so twisted, but he was very tortured, mostly from things that, just from being very sensitive. So, he really went through the world carrying. He had for one thing, a very tragic life. He like died. After a life in that bohemian tramp-like life. In the, he would just have like odd jobs to get by. He was only about 20 when he quit poetry for good and quit writing altogether after devoting his entire being to it, you know, starving for it, um, breaking the law for it. It was his, or in his own words, disaster was my God. And he sought to channel. It was all about transcending and illuminating, you know. I thought it was like, I think it's deeply religious, although he was like, part of his charm was that he was like an imp. He was just so repulsed by his society and so fragile at the same time. So like a cherub, you know. Like, you know how Lucifer rebels against God, but he's the strongest of the angels, the wisest, the most talented, the most beautiful. He was like the little cherub who wasn't all that powerful and rebelled regardless. He like embraced that pain and embraced it not in the sense of I will endure it, it will pass. He, in a masochistic fashion, He like asked for more of it. Asked, considered himself a beast, like a leper, and then he took that mantle on and um, turned it into literature by just documenting it, right? And it's just this twisted. It's called A Season in Hell, where he writes all this to journey into like um, through what seemingly really it's all in his head, but he's just very sensitive. That's really it. And he's taking you through hell, but it's really all him, you know.
Why do you want to be like that?
I don't want to be like that. I wanted to be like that. Then when I saw someone already did it, I did it. I wanted to do, the whole thing is novelty, right? I guess I'm a believer that every thought has been thought. Every word has been said. But maybe, at least, it's funny because when he quit poetry altogether, his like best friend and lover, Paul Verlaine, told him like, he said, everything's been said, right? There's nothing more to say. There's nothing more I can give. And Paul Verlaine said, no, everything you said has been said, but no one has said it the way you have said it, right? And I don't want to be like that, but I wanted a life of adventure. I guess I'm still chasing that, but I resonated most with him and his work and his ideas because he was just fucking beautiful and nasty. He was like a beautiful bastard, right? Of undeniable beauty. He was just brilliant, charming, but vile. I love that contrast. He's like a fictional character to me. Who knows what the actual historical person was doing? Doesn't really matter. Every once in a while, a new something about him surfaces, and it's like a picture of him in the Dutch Navy, which he deserted from. And then it'll be like they identify him as him being in like Egypt, running guns. He did that for a while. After giving up on writing in Europe, he eventually went to Africa, walked there. He walked to Africa and got like severely injured on the way, on his knees. And then once he was there, he just traded coffee and would just send money back to his family. And that knee got so bad, he eventually rounded up money to get sent back to France for treatment. Then he died over that. He was only like 37. Shitty fucking life.
Do you have something to say as a writer? Like, some kind of message?
Shit. That's so broad. I don't know. If I could be a little... No, I do know. It's just there's so many messages. I guess I'll pick one. I think nonsense is a big theme in what I write. Because you know how people always talk about making sense. What you write has to make sense. I like to make nonsense. Yeah, it really is sort of just like childish, just rebel without a cause or without a pause. A message as such, totally. I think it's all critical in a way. I think I probably became a writer, and everything I write, I'm angry. I'm like communicating a world that there's a lot to learn from, and I'm just really moody about the world. So it's too broad of a question, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you've given an answer.
Yeah, but I don't think it was that concrete.
Well, I've never seen your writing.
Yeah, I should just send you some. I haven't. I don't. I should just send you
Sure.
something.
I would read them. So, what what makes you critical? Angry.
What makes me critical and angry? Uh, I think I just have different values than most people. They won't. What I do, people generally don't understand in the sense that like I. It seems really stupid everything I do, but it means a lot to me. Maybe that's just autism, but like just anything of beauty.
Can you explain
I
to
really
those
live for beauty.
things that
That frustrate me.
no that
I
makes
could. I
sense to
can't
you
pick
but
one.
nobody else?
Um. What?
You just said that um, some small things are really important to you
Oh yeah. Okay.
that nobody else really seems to see.
It's just aesthetics mostly. They're just. I'm just very petty about aesthetics. No, like. Um. I guess I interpret the world through an aesthetic lens, and I assign value to things aesthetic. I prioritize it over anything else. Morals or order or convenience or comfort or love or God. And that that usually drives me to do things that are very irrational. Right? Maybe for example like money. I like to say that a bad financial decision is usually a pretty good decision for my well-being or my comfort, or you could say the whole aesthetic thing is just about comfort. It really does discomfort me when I'm not aesthetically satisfied, you know. And it's all like romance. It's all about fantasies. Like the Navy, being in the Navy, that was all romantic and aesthetic and about glamour. So like I was really enamored by the vision of a traditional cliche sailor and how sailors were like pirates on the good side. They all just the tattoos. Tattoos were only for like prisoners. Prisoners only had tattoos, and it was for like to mark them, to brand them. Tattoos were always a sign of like some kind of destitution. And then sailors, because they got around so much, and they assigned like a mystical um, interpretation or connotation to tattoos, and they believed they actually had power because of the ink that was on their skin, or the earrings that they wore, jewelry, golden jewelry like piercings. That was a big thing among pirates. Sailors, maybe that's a stretch, but pirates would wear a lot so that if their body washed up ashore, the jewelry that they wore on their body would be worth enough to like bury them. Or just like how mysterious inevitably a sailor's their life is. They're at sea for most of the time, and sea is a very remote setting because you're on a boat, but where is the boat? It's in the middle of nowhere, and you're just sailing through oblivion. And the things that happen on the ship in such times, the way people can stoop, and the shit that people resort to is really, that's what's interesting to me. People losing their mind at sea, people um, being so corrupted by that isolation of a home, which would be the ship, but the home is in a void. It's in a in an oasis. It's like in a landscape where you can't tell the sun from the sky. Everything's just single color.
So how do you think you will deal with the isolation?
I'm looking forward to it. I don't think I hardly ever deal with anything. I'm fucking really bad at that. I just wait. But I mean, I guess you could say you turn it into, I just use it for subject matter, for my writing and stuff, you know.
So is this more than just a research trip?
It's many things. I mean, I could give you the practical answer. I could tell you about the benefits. I could tell you about having a career, about being financially stable, about having a network and support of people I can rely on. But that's all like the crumbs of it. For me, it was first and foremost aesthetics, romance, being at sea, and hitting ports, and getting blasted and getting tatted and fighting and bleeding and then coming back to work right after. That was just a lifestyle I was very attracted by or to. I felt like I could do that, you know. If you know how at school they put all those like career choices or options and shit, and they're like, this is what this person does, and then you take a little personality test and you get a few like jobs that would fit for you. Every high school does it here. I didn't get any jobs. I got one thing. It was entrepreneur. That was all I got. And people usually had lists of jobs. All I got in all those tests was always entrepreneur. And the job is just how you eat. Just how you get your food. It's just how you get your sleep. You know?
Are you like kind of not classified by the system?
Maybe. I don't. That really doesn't faze me. I mean, I don't like labels in general. Um, except there are labels for people who don't like labels, right? Like iconoclast, stranger, etc. I think I'm all that and their opposites. Yeah. So I wanted to be a sailor because I felt like I'm halfway there. All I need is to go there and put the uniform on, right? Because in my mind, a sailor is not like serving his country and mopping floors and taking orders. That's just like the crumbs. Like in my mind, a sailor is like bar brawling and drunk in a ditch and like chipped teeth, probably some sexually transmitted diseases here and there. And I'm just I'm really attracted by that kind of decadence. Not that I want to be that decadent, not that I enjoy any of, maybe I would enjoy it, but it's like I'm just fascinated by that lifestyle. So I hear stories of the Navy how it used to be before there was any such thing as like political correctness, or at least the amount of order and supervision that there is now, which says a lot because I think we are hardly supervised, and this is like, I say the Navy's anarchy, you know, because my I say the Navy's anarchy, and those stories are just haunting. Those stories are like how people used to do, like the ship was like a junkyard in the water. It was like a floating prison because everyone there was just, it was a fleet of crooks. It was like, it was just criminal, you know. It was people um, that were getting hazed, and not hazed like teased, like bothered, like probably like waterboarded, and like seriously hurt, humiliated, etc. Theft, um, just like a super rough lifestyle. Some shit you'd find on in Gotham City, you know. Some shit you go to like a ghetto, and you just look around and it's what, it's like smoke everywhere. It's people selling stolen goods. It's sirens. It's people overdosing on the sidewalk. People running back and forth. Crowds of people in just in hoods, sort of cooped together like herds, and it's just like a battlefield. And that is so, that's just beautiful to me as a setting. But then when you mix it with the Navy and the stories of the old Navy, and how there used to be things as serious as like prostitution rings on ships. There used to be things as serious as like people getting raped on ships, people casually getting whacked, gone at sea, lost at sea. If there's some dude that wants to put something out about it, they throw him overboard, and then I haven't seen Johnny. And then they have a sea burial and they move on. I think it's like a wet mafia. I don't know, I think it's so interesting. I think there's still remnants of that in this Navy. I know there is, and the Navy's trying to get rid of it. But I think those dudes did a pretty fucking good job, because they weren't fighting for their country. They were fighting because they like to fight, and that's just the nasty people that the Navy needs. They don't need clean-shaven, you know, people who will just simply take orders. They need people who crooks, I don't know. they need people with grit. They try to artificially instill that, but I don't think they get very far.